Hello and welcome back. I've just been footering about with my microphones because for some reason they keep dropping out and it's been causing me some problems. Every time I go out on a bike, it used to be dead simple, hook the mics up, go out for a ride, come back, post-process, done. However, lately it's been, you've probably seen the last couple of videos where I've apologised profusely for the quality of the audio. It's been a bit, like you say, haphazard. Where are we? Just at the bottom neck of the paddock. We'll go for a bit of a spin up it. This is going to be sort of the test of how shaky this rally tar. Obviously with the carbon fibre, I expect it to be pretty solid, but we'll give it a go and see what it looks like. It's quite a bumpy road up here, but we've got the nav on. This is a DMD, by the way. I can't take my hands off the bars at the minute, but drive mode dashboard version 2, which is installed on the Carpe, Eater, whatever you want to call it, the big rugged tablet. I've set it as the default application because it seems to be quite a good app. It does road books, does navigation, does engine statistics or engine OBD readouts and things like that. So I'll get moving because I'm going to eat by the midges. So yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare, this camera. I don't know if there's been a firmware update that's just upset it, but both mics took a firmware update while I was sitting there, so I just updated them. Fingers crossed that's them sorted out now. Hopefully this is a pretty clear run up here. Get up a bit of a blast, a few sheep about. The road's got some low stones and it's a bit slidey, but just watch the tar to see how sturdy it is. So it's very patchy tarmac here. Lots of sheep shit. In the corner, nothing coming to kill me. Now we open her up into the Galloways. Some nice light this evening. And the good thing about it as well, even though it's quite a lot of material in front of you, i.e. the big roadbook or the big nav and the high screen, it's not really any more higher than the old system, or the old tar, old front light, fairing, whatever you want to call it. So it's actually the visibility of the top, it's pretty damn good. And also the fact is that you don't have this big black massive plastic in front of you, so your visibility down the side of the actual tar is a lot better because you can actually see the road, and if you're picking your way through some technical stuff, let's say you could be looking down at stuff and be able to see it okay. So that's the bumpy test. Go right here and head down into the forest a bit further. As I was saying earlier, if you didn't hear me, it's a bank holiday weekend here in Scotland, so a few people off and out and about at the weekend, so expect anything around the corner. just giving you a little bit of a view of what it's like in the cockpit here. So obviously my phone's not as important now that I've got a big tablet, and I've actually managed to put a SIM in it this week. So, oh, car. The edge there. So what was I? Yeah, so I put a SIM in it this week. So I've got a cheap SIM, £4 a month for 50 gigs. That should be enough for when you're out and about. If I need any more, I can always tether my phone to download stuff. But the maps on the DMD are offline anyway, so you've got to actually subscribe to those, as it's a paid for service to get the maps. Obviously on the DMD tablet that may be different, so don't hold me to it, but because this is a carpenter, there's kind of some sort of a non-agreement or agreement thing going on at the minute with it's just an Android piece of software. So the maps are about £10 a year, and then to get the road book I think it's like £3, and then to get something else it's like £2 or £3. So all in all, to set it up, you're talking like a subscription for about a tenner a year, and then £3 or £4 to get the other couple of apps on there. The roadbook app I'm particularly interested in. It seems to work quite well. I'll maybe put it on at the moment. Let's see where there's there. Boom. So you can see there you've got the roadbook set up, and then you can obviously click play and lock it as well. So it means that lock it. There you go. That's it locked. So basically it doesn't touch or move. You can only move it with the controller. So that's particularly good. Then you can reset your partial distance, then you can move your trip meter at the top with the lever on the left here. So all in all it's pretty good. So, you know, when I'm doing roadbook rallies going forward, I've now got basically a piece of software that can manipulate a PDF, and I've got my trip meter. Now the only thing I've got to work out is how do I calibrate the trip meter. I know you can go into Google Earth and measure it, but how accurate is that? And just if any of you guys who run roadbooks, and especially DMD roadbooks, is whether or not I need to do anything. As I was saying earlier, I don't know if you picked it up, but I've recently changed the contact lenses so I can ride and read at the same time, whereas before, being a middle-aged young man, I have difficulty reading small print at distance, especially when you're riding a bike and things are moving about. You've got to be able to just pick up the important information as you go along. But I don't know whether it may be better if I run it in landscape mode rather than portrait. I've got to actually give it a try, so I may be moving this around again. Hello, sheepy. That's kind of the roadbook. As you can see, it just moves down as you thumb your thing, and then you can work your trip to the right, up and down, top trip, and then you can reset your partial trip and stuff like that. The best thing about the partial trip is that as you reset it, so I'm in 5th, as you reset it, the book actually goes up, which is really good, because you sit and look at it, like say for example the second entry there, 0.12, get to 0.12 on the partial trip, and you can reset it, boom, and it moves up, you can look down the next line. So there's ways you can sort of work it, that's a good thing. I don't know whether to maybe change this so that I might scroll, rather than move the book up, it might scroll up, scroll down, if you see where I'm coming from. Try to do it more natural, so it might be actually easier to click it like that to make it go down, and up to go up, or down to go up, if you know what I mean. Kind of like that natural selection of your mouses that everybody changed to a while ago. Where you going, boys? I'm not trying to scare you. So yeah, so that's the roadbook, that's what it looks like. I'd love to make a couple of roadbooks around the south of Scotland and use it to practice on. There's a piece of software you can't do that, like it's called Rally Navigator. So I might, over the winter, pick a few of my favourite routes and turn them into roadbooks and see how I get on with those. Good way to practice, even though you know the roads, but you can always throw a few curveballs in there just to make it a bit more interesting. But yeah, as you can see, when you're standing up, the view's pretty good. I can actually see what's on there. You know, you can see the tulips. You can see the distances. The only thing I'm sort of struggling with is the the partial distances. So the overall trip's fine, the text is fine, but yeah, it's just reading it at speed. And when you're sitting, you do have to slow down and take your time and have a look at it. It'll become a skill which I'll pick up as I go along, but yeah, I'm looking forward to trying to do a few more rallies. Now that the bike's kind of just, it's at an age now where it's a tool that goes, I might as well just make the most out of it and use it. It's not a garage queen anymore. It can be used, and it does get used, so I'm not worried about it. What a lovely evening. I think those wind farms are having babies. There's so many of them now. Hello, sheeps. What else do we need to talk about? Rally Tour. Conclusion? Yeah, definitely worth the investment. It just makes the front end of the bike just look class, in my opinion. You could batter on with it. But the thing I didn't realise was that the replacement screens from Rally Garage are actually quite reasonable. I think a screen's about 60 quid. I think the side fairings are more expensive, probably because they come with stickers, but they if you damage a screen or you scrape it or it gets too many swirls on it, it could be easily replaced, or if you get too many stickers on it, too many number boards. Let's see what happens. Another thing I'm doing as well is I'm testing out some new kit. I've gone kind of more layer based now, so I've managed to buy myself a super shirt from Adventure Spec and a pair of linesman pants, which I'm just getting used to. And even though I've got a backpack on me today with a camera and stuff, everything's pretty comfortable. I'm a little bit cold because I'm just wearing a motocross top on top of the super shirt, but I don't feel compromised at all with regard to safety, especially on the road. But I definitely really like the super shirt. So yeah, the linesman pants, quite stretchy. They come in 3 lengths. Of course, I went for the short. The pads in them are these new lightweight flow ones, I think they're called. So these Adventure Spec Linesman version 2 pants. I don't know what the difference really is. I think it's probably more to do with the testing of them. I think they're AA or something like that with regard to abrasion, but they're fairly stretchy material, doubled up on the arse, and Kevlar knee pads, leather at the bottom of the trouser where your pegs might catch it, which is all very good. But yeah, I'm really pleased though. I've been wearing sort of Gore-Tex kind of adventure suits for the last few years, and to be honest, they've been really, really good. But just recently I've been finding myself getting very warm when I've been out and about, and I just wanted something a bit more modular that I could whip off and put on and things like that. So the trip that I've got in September in Ireland is going to be a good test of it, especially if it's changeable weather. But fingers crossed, I should stay warm.
Feel your heartbeat. Walk every road, the highs and lows, and everything in between. When it's you and me, it's a dream. When it's you
Good evening, folks. I'm out again. I've been having some sound problems with the microphones in this DJI Osmo camera, so hopefully I've got it fixed. It was going into an auto power off mode for some reason, and I don't know when it changed the settings, to be honest. I don't know whether it defaulted to a particular setting. I'm just out in the back roads here. I'm actually trying to test the lights. It's probably about half an hour before it kind of gets dark. I don't know what time's it now, 9 o'clock in the evening. So hopefully it'll start getting a little bit dark and I can see what the lights are like. Because that was one of the biggest selling points for the Raleigh Tower, was the new lights on it. So the light setup I've got at the minute is just the main beam, or the low beam, and a couple of S4 Denali's just on the pods. So I'll maybe try various setups if it gets dark enough. I've just realised I'm down to 3 bars of fuel as well. So fingers crossed I don't have to bug out and get some fuel. It feels quite antisocial riding about this time of night. I don't know what it is, maybe I'm just not used to it. And I've set my screen on sort of automatic as well, my main TFT, just so it shows me what it looks like, or when it gets dark enough to dip the lights, if you know what I mean, on the old system. You can see there it changed back. It's quite annoying that at this time of night I usually just leave it on black all the time, or night setting, as you maybe have noticed in the past. But yeah, I just wanted to see what the difference was. And I apologise in a minute for it being all POV footage as well, because I haven't quite got the second camera sussed out where I'm going to put it on the tower. I'll probably end up putting it here. I think I mentioned that maybe the other day. But I just haven't got quite round to getting it wired in. I do eventually want to get a matching Osmo, but there's a new 360 one out now which I've seen has been just released. Osmo 360, funny enough. It's a bit of a smaller, dumpier unit, but it might use the same mount, so it might be quite handy just being able to flip one on there. I'm not one to have a big massive pole sticking out the back of my bike. I don't think that's cool. Sorry. But having a big unicorn spike out the front of your bike is not my thing. Just something forward facing or backwards facing would be enough for me. But we'll see how the old funds go. I've spent enough the last few weeks that cameras can wait. Some of the features I didn't really go through because there's so much stuff on the internet about these displays and things like that. Probably the justification for going for the Carp Itter is it's a bit more of a robust tablet. The DMD, I think it's what it's called, 865X or whatever, looks like a good enough tablet, but I've seen some people smashing screens on them and stuff, and I thought, I'll just err on the side of caution. I also believe this is brighter. It's so many nits brighter or whatever, so in some daylight time it'll be a lot brighter. What I'm running on is the DMD dashboard, or the what is it called? Drive Mode Dashboard version 2, available at all Google Play stores for your Android devices. So the way I've got it set up is that's the default device. Carp Itter do have a head-up display that they're developing by the looks of it. It's like version 0.8 or something. It looks fairly similar, so I expect the two of them to be maybe competing for handlebar space over the next few years. I don't know whether it was a fallout or something, but I think they all used to get on and now maybe they don't get on so well, but don't quote me to that. It's just kind of what I've skim read on the internet forums. So this is just the instrument display. It'd be quite nice if you could customize it a bit further, but this is basically your revs on the right, speed in kilometers on the left, and your coolant temperature in the middle. The rev counter is actually, or the rev indicator, is that big orange bar at the bottom. So you'll see it increases. So it kind of ties in with what you see down below, but there's no numbers on it. You got to read the numbers up above it. And it says it's at 4,000 revs-ish, which is about right. It kind of ties in with the dark screen if you left the dark screen on all the time. So for looks-wise, you know, that's kind of maybe your day-to-day running screen. And if you need nav, it's all at your fingertips. So you've obviously got a home screen, which is kind of just a summary of quick access apps, etc. Then you got your kind of speedo display like we're looking at now. And most of it is customizable. You can tweak stuff in it. Then you've got your road book, which is showed earlier in the video, controlled by obviously the controller, which by the way is color coded. It's got a backlit display as well, and you can pick orange. And then obviously you've got all your apps. Now what I've done with this one is I've set this up now as I would have had my old phone, or my phone that's on the day. So when I run my cardo through this, so if I need to listen to music, I've got Apple Music, but you can stick on Spotify or another player. I've also got podcast app in there. And it basically acts like a big phone now that it's got the SIM in it. So it receives text, you can do WhatsApp. So basically it's a lot more versatile than say my old Garmin, which basically was just a dead unit, it was a sat nav, not much interaction with it. With this you can actually watch Netflix on it if you wanted to. Not while you're riding though. Yeah, all in all, I'm fairly pleased with the purchase of the tablet. It's gonna basically let me do a few things. The good thing about it is as well is that all your GPXs, like for example, if you were say heading on a TED trip, you could download all the TED, put it in your Google Drive, and it's just there on the desktop. It's just access it like a file manager. So when you want to load a file, you just load it up, open up Google Drive, and away you go. Right, I'm just going to pull in here and put the camera on night settings because it's starting to get a bit dusky. So just bear with me a sec. Okay, that's us onto the night vision. So I'll maybe put up some sort of, if it gets dark enough, I'll maybe put up some sort of comparison shot, much like I did in the last video where you saw how poorly the standard OEM headlights were working. Now, bear with me, they were covered in flies at the time. They'd just done 4 days in Ireland and a big trip up north. So they were pretty dirty at the time, so I'll maybe give them a wee bit of grace and compare them, but I'll put hopefully side by side when I get a wee bit of darkness later. Let's see if we can get some altitude here. See, look, because this can be quite 164 meters. So obviously I've got this set up as kilometers. It'd be quite nice. I don't know if the DMD guys will be listening to this. It'd be quite nice if you could put an option for imperial on particular fields. So if you wanted to have, say for example, feet for altitude, and then mileage for maybe your tank range or something like that. But obviously, being based in Portugal, the guys stick with the European metric system, but there is options. The problem is when you come to your road book, I'm not sure if the road book is impacted by it or if it is kilometers all the time. Someone will tell me, no doubt, in the comments. So the thing I've noticed as well is I don't know whether the screen is too bright or not at this time of night. I haven't sussed out whether it actually adjusts automatically to the ambient light. I put it on a setting known as extra dim. Yeah, quite apt really. So I don't really know if that's affecting the footage on the camera or not. It's hard to tell because there's no picture showing. So I'll see when I get home. There's full beam now. Wow. Definitely is lighting up the. This might not be hard. It might not be easy to see. But this night mode is really good on ambient light. bit to turn it off. You'll be able to see that the road gets a little bit darker. Sunset, it was at 21, I believe. It's now 27, so probably got another 20 minutes of twilight. Let's go see if there are any wild campers up here. Wake them up. Bit loose there. I thought there would be more folk up camping. Be up there. Great. Hopefully you can see that. That's a dip beam on the road there. There's a wee bit of loose stuff. Let's go full beam. There's full beam on now. Maybe just not dark enough to appreciate it. Oh, there's somebody up there. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that light punching through the dark there. We'll switch it off and then back on again. It'll be a bit clearer, but it's just not quite dark enough yet. Gate's still shut. It's a pity they closed this road a few years ago. COVID, eh? Right, let's try with the auxiliaries on. Yeah, you can see it quite bright there. That's the auxiliaries on, 100%. I'm on road pressures here, so I'm all over the place. Definitely say that lighting is fairly good. Road up to the left here. I've never been up. Have a look, see where this goes. It's probably just a logging. But yeah, you can see the lights there. That's probably more the auxiliary lights. Let me just turn them off just to see what they no, that's auxiliaries off. It's probably just not dark enough yet. Let's go on a wee bit. Let's see what goes. So that's the full beam on. That's dip beam. Still a wee, not quite dark enough yet, but full beam on. Where did this go? This is our lot. But yeah, here you can see full beam. You can see the cutoff on the dip beam, and then full beams lights are up. Definitely an improvement on stock, and the auxiliary beams just yeah, that's super good now. Hopefully you're picking that up in the camera. That's with auxiliary lights off, so that I don't have any assistance with that. So there's dip, there's full. So yeah, definitely an improvement. Right, time to head home. I'm sure there's a glass of wine waiting for me. Or maybe not. So that is dip beam just now. Sun's just setting in the distance. Auxiliaries on. So they just light up the foreground either side, and they're actually on quite a low setting. So I think they're on 30% of the full brightness, and then when I click on full beam, it lights everything up. So you can see I got quite a good spread in front of me. The thing I'm really interested about is the reach of the spot. So that's the bit I wanted to improve, and it definitely looks like it's done that. So hoping that's coming across okay on the video. It's probably hard to tell until I get home. But yeah, definitely I feel like I can go a little bit harder, and I can see what I'm coming into corners wise. I know it's still dusky, don't get me wrong. And what I've done with my auxiliary lights, I've kind of angled them a little bit out to the side, just to give me more of a kind of a cornering light almost. So hopefully they're doing the job as well, giving me a good spread. It's only a few degrees, it's nothing radical, but yeah. Anyway, I'm probably just waffling on here a bit. So if there's anything you want to know about either the tower, lights, or the nav system in front of us, let me know in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I get it. Again, I'm finding my way with this DMD roadbook and how I could use this tablet to its best. So it's going to be a bit of a learning process over the next wee while. This is awesome. You'll be able to come down here with full beams where you can actually see what you're doing. Class. So I'll just let the video run as I head back home, and then if there's any good dark bits, and hopefully we'll never be able to have the full beam on, you'll be able to see what it's like. But even at this sort of level of light, it's definitely a big improvement. I can only imagine what it's like when it's fully dark. It'll just light up everything. The thing about this time of night as well is that there's a few deer kicking about these parts. Just got to keep your eyes peeled. Look out for the two wee white eyes in the head before it jumps out in front of you. And that would be a fitting end to a tail, wouldn't it? New rally tower destroyed in freak deer accident while testing lights. And the moon is just coming out, if you can see it there, above the trees. Oh, get her. And that's another thing that you don't get too much glare. You just about see the indicator flashing there. You don't really get any glare off it, which is good. Right, we're coming up to a little dark bit, so I'll leave the lights on dip at the moment. Auxiliaries I'll turn off. Auxiliary lights are off. That is just the main beam headlight. I've got a few corners here, and I'll flick on the main beam once we're in these trees. Boom. Oh yes. There you go. Perfect. Look at that. That's good. Good spread of that now, and good reach as well. And then I'll put the auxiliaries back on, and they just brighten up the bit in front of the bike, which is really good, and to the side. So really chuffed for that. And then dip again. The auxiliaries dip to about 30%. They still give you a nice spread. And then full beam. Yes. Another wee dark section here. That's the dip beam with the auxiliaries on. You can see it's quite faint, but it's probably about the same as the old full beam. Then there's the full beam on with the full auxiliaries. That's definitely something which I can live with. Hopefully I'll get a little bit, well, hopefully it will get a little bit darker as I get towards the old homestead. To be honest, it's something I've never really done. Is a lot of night riding. I've only done it when absolutely necessary, and it's usually been just getting off the boat at Cairnryan and riding the short ride back up the road. But flights like this, it actually might encourage me to go out maybe a bit more in the shoulder season, should I say. You know, when it gets maybe dark, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, busting to get out on the bike up an evening, and maybe it's a nice evening. Very, very happy. dip beam. So, see, even the dip beam's pretty good. It's really dark around the corner here, so we'll just go 1, 2, 3, boom. Ho, 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 ho. That is pretty good. The reach, I can see cat's eyes, half a mile, well, quarter of a mile on the road. The fact you can ride as you would in daylight is the big advantage to this to me, because I find with the old lights I couldn't really, you can't really make out the corners and stuff. So this is definitely going to be a big advantage. Dip beam, full beam.